Well, hello there. Welcome to my parents' basement. Have a seat. Have a seat anywhere. Anywhere is fine, really. Um, it's all a mess, and that's okay. My life, just like my life. So yeah, the reason I've gathered you all here today is so I could talk about my 30 failures because I think the 30 most successful like millionaires under 30 is stupid and who cares? And instead, why don't we give a shout out to all the failures out there, aka me. Um I think the TV is kind of broken, which is why it's on the floor of my room. Um but yeah, s- maybe I could turn this so it's not like distracting. Just like social media always showing you people at their best, I don't think we should always be doing the same thing for, Forbes saying the 30 most successful people. I think puts a lot of pressure on us to be more than we're gonna be, honestly. Obviously only 30 people out of however millions of people are on Forbes 30 under 30, and plenty of us have 30 failures. Maybe not most of us. I think I had a very easy time writing 30 failures down. I think I wrote it down. Yeah, I thought of this idea and I just hit record on my phone and I listed off 26 failures in 3 minutes and 23 seconds. So I've condensed it. I've thought of some more, I've condensed it. And obviously I'm going to give more detail than just, listing what the failures are. Um, so yeah, the reason I've been thinking about this a lot is first of all, I am turning 30 pretty soon. I'm 29 and I turn 30 in a couple months, and that's cool. We like that. I was worried about it for a while, but I'm kind of coming to terms with being a failure at 30, and I'm not gonna like freak out about it anymore. It's like I'm conquering this. I'm gonna be it's okay. I'm a failure and that's whatever. I'm gonna share it with the internet because although I'm afraid to talk to people in real life, for some reason, I'm not afraid to talk to a camera and into a microphone and then post it on the internet for like dozens of people to see. So obviously, I wouldn't say this to anyone in real life, but here we are on the internet for some reason. So I'm turning 30 soon. So that's obviously one of the reasons I've been thinking about being a failure. And the other one is because, as you can see down on my TV, that's my YouTube channel, my gaming YouTube channel, which I thought it was going to be good. I thought I was doing good at the start, and it kind of was. It kind of was. And it's just really hard. It's just really hard. I put a lot of effort into everything, and I just get people who are established obviously get way more views than me just by reacting to videos or just playing the game on Twitch and having an editor put it together in like a little montage thing or whatever, or just uploading the raw footage. And then meanwhile, I have to like record footage, write scripts, edit, and make a thumbnail and a title, and like I don't know, just present it. And I'm not good at presenting. I think I'm doing pretty good right now. I think I'm doing fine. Talking to my ceiling. That's you. Um, but yeah, so the thing that got me the most like drilled into my head recently that I'm a failure is that I've been spending so much time on this. Um, and I got a friend who ended up um getting like 40 times my success on YouTube in a 12th of the time in 1 month. She got like 40 times my subscribers than I got in a year. So I just passed a year on YouTube. And being a failure has been on my mind a lot because of that. But luckily, I did have one video that's doing decent recently. And it's kind of like reviving my hope in that. So I still think it's a failure. I was actually going to give up after one more video, but I don't know anymore. Um, but that's why I'm thinking about being a failure. And not just that, it's not just that I'm like failing at these things. It's that it reminds me that I've been failing at these things my whole entire life. I have always tried different things and tried to succeed in different ways, and I always fail at them. So I mean, I wrote down 30 and I wrote them down in order. But I might change up the order a little bit because um I think I recorded this already and I thought it was kind of boring, which it was, which obviously a video like this might not be like the most entertaining video in the world. I'm not like Mr. Beast because I'm a failure. Just kidding. And he's not, which is fine. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just a failure in a different way. I'm not saying he's a failure. I don't know what I'm saying. But anyways, let's start with my number one failure. And this is another reason being a failure has been on my mind so much recently. Um, and that is because this is an annual failure that I have every single year, and that is leaving my job. My failing to leave my job and get something better. Because ever since I started the job, I've not liked it. I've never liked it for a day. And here I am 10 years later. I got my 10-year anniversary a few months ago. I got the new director is like super nice, and he writes a little, handwritten thing saying like congratulations on 10 years. And the seasonal people that are there for like the first time, and it's like it's embarrassing. I don't know. I get the thing. It's like, yeah, I've been here for 10 years. I, look like a nerd, so I think people think I should be like smart and in math, which I thought I was smart and I was good at math. But in the end, I'm just working like a manual labor job that I hate. So every single year, we'll do a lot of things that are like seasonal, and we'll do them. And I'm like, this is the last time I'm going to do this because 12 months from now, I'm going to be gone. I'm going to be doing something different. I'm going to be inside. I hate being outside. I hate the sunlight. And I hate it. But in the end, that's just the life I live. And I think I'm kind of accepting the fact that I'm not going to be able to do anything better for reasons I'm going to get into. Um, so, well, for the first reason I'll get into is because of my, um, okay, so that was failure number 2. Failure number 3, okay, I'm gonna just quickly go over my failed potential, I guess I'll say, because, I am obviously not doing great in life, so me saying a couple of good things about myself, I don't think it's gonna be, like, seen that much as, like, a brag or anything, but I don't think I'm dumb. I think I'm pretty smart, but I have a lot of, like, mental health issues that have kinda held me back through life, I feel like, and I'm kind of getting a grasp on them now, or kinda not a grasp, but I'm trying to get them in check now, and it's getting better, I think, but I still think because I've wasted so many years, I've failed out of college, um I only have 1 job experience. Like, imagine my resume trying to get an office job when it's like, "Yeah, I've worked outside for 10 years, so hire me." And I'm really awkward and really bad at interviews, which is number 4 is my failed interviews, okay? This is one of my biggest, uh, one of my biggest weaknesses, okay? Yeah, "Oh, what's your biggest weakness?" Interviews. This is my biggest weakness, interviews. So that's number 4. I'll go through them really quick. Is that, ever since I was, so when I was 16, I didn't want to get a driver's license because I was afraid of driving, and I ended up being afraid of driving for years. But I ended up having to do it when I was 18. Anyways, when I was 16, I didn't want to get a job. I don't think. Um, so I didn't. But then when I was 17, my parents were like, "Come on, you got to get a job." So I applied for the pool where both of my sisters worked, and they said, "Hey, you just gotta apply for the job and do the interview process just like as a formality, and then you'll get the job." Like, it was pretty much just set up for me. And I did the interview, and I must have done such a bad job that they just didn't hire me. And I don't understand that, because it's like I was gonna be a pool attendant. All I had to do was like mop the floor and like clean toilets. Like, it didn't seem like a very like, I don't know. If I'm awkward in an interview, that doesn't mean I shouldn't get hired to clean toilets. I don't know. Like, I I don't know why they didn't hire me, but, they didn't hire me, and then the next year, I applied to be a pool attendant again, and they told me the same thing. They're like, "Yeah, they're gonna hire you for sure." We talked to the manager and everything, but this time I kinda messed up because I did the phone call and I practiced my, like, little script over and over and over again, because I was gonna leave a message, and I left a message, but at the end of the message, I said, "Call me back at this number," and I left the wrong number, and I knew I left the wrong number. It was the wrong area code, and I was too embarrassed to fix it. And then he actually did call back even though I left the wrong number, but I was too embarrassed to answer it because I left the wrong number. And then I just said, "GG, I'm not getting the job. I don't care. Let's go, go on to the next one." So I did apply for 2 grocery stores. One of them was Whole Foods, where my cousin worked, and she said I could get the job for sure, and I would have no problem, and she talked to her manager, and I didn't get the job. And then the other one was Mariano's, another grocery store, and time. I did the interview, I'm panicking, I'm so nervous about it, and then, like, I get into the interview, and it's like you're in the eye of the hurricane where everything feels, like, calm for a second, and it wasn't obviously my anxiety is still elevated, but I felt like so more peaceful than I was before and after the interview, I guess. So it's really like the eye of the storm. And in the interview, she kept saying, like, you don't have to be so anxious. You can calm down. And I'm like, I'm calm. I'm calm. I'm calm. This is as calm as I'm going to get. You're not going to get me any more calm than this. And they didn't hire me. And the crappy thing is, like, I'm not gonna be that highly anxious during the job forever because, this is interviews is a place where my anxiety spikes, and, I ended up getting a job, at a place where my mom worked, and I didn't even have to do an interview because if I did, I probably wouldn't have gotten the job for some reason. It's like, I'm a good worker, but no one's gonna know that because I can't get past an interview, so, I did eventually 2 years ago, I did finally go full-time at the job. So I did like 5 years of seasonal because I was going, to college. Every year was supposed to be my last year at this job, and then I worked part-time for 3 years, and I just did not want to go full-time. I was like, "If I go full-time, I'm stuck here." I refused to buy new work boots because that was me accepting that I was stuck at the job for longer, like, than a few months, and I was like, "I'm not buying new work boots," and they were just, like, falling apart, and eventually I was like, "I'm stuck here. I'm gonna buy new boots." You gotta buy new boots every year. So I finally did it, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm stuck here," and then I ended up being stuck there for another 3 years so far, maybe 4, maybe 5. I don't remember. Time is a blur. So I don't know. That was number 4 was, interviews. So now I have some stuff about college that I'm gonna get back to. It's stuff about college and school that I'm gonna get back to. So that was number 4. So we're gonna get to number 5. So for this section of the failures, these are kind of things I accept that I'm not, like, kind of good material to get into a job that I would like and that would pay, a decent amount because, like, I had to take the minimum wage of 8.25 when I started my job, because it's like that's all I could do and that's all I'm worth. And now it's like, I get raises every year. For a while, it was just keeping up with minimum wage, and it was like kind of a bummer because it's like I'm like this is my 8th year there, and someone that starts, first day they're getting the same pay as me, and it's like that's a bummer. I don't like that feeling. That kind of feels crappy. Like they should appreciate me, but whatever. Then I got full time, so now I get paid more than the brand new part timers. But then the brand new full timers ended up making 2 cents more than me. And I was like, I had to talk to them. I was like, what? I've been here. This is like good. This is my 9th year. And people that just come in the door are making more money than me. What the heck? I think it's because I'm awkward and not good at like negotiating or stuff, or people could just take advantage of me and maybe that's what they're doing. But I kind of accepted that I'm not gonna be able to do anything I like with my life, in terms of, like, working and finding a job. So my escape from that is, side hustles are a big thing online, and I'm sure side hustles will go great for me, I said, a few years ago, and I've tried different ones, and I failed at all of them. So the first and the biggest side hustle that I sunk the most time and a little bit of money into was I'm so embarrassed about this. It was like print on demand. I wonder if I have check this out. I got this right here. I think it's pretty cool. It's obviously this channel is probably named Bugga Beans, and here's my mentally ill, but I love to grill grilling apron, which is pretty cool. So obviously I bought this with my own money because, but yeah, I like drawing, which is another failure we'll get into because I don't do that anymore. And I lost my diary. Well, that's what we're gonna call it. And I feel like my hair looks gross and greasy from up above, and I don't think it's as gross and greasy as it looks. So don't don't pay attention to that. So the first thing I tried was um was the print on demand thing, and I put a lot of effort into it, and I learned so many things. I spent so much time while I'm at work. So basically, for all of these upcoming failures of these like side hustle things, I just have an earbud in whenever I can, and I'll listen to YouTube videos about it to try to learn things, and then I'll get home and I'll work on it, and it's like, it, you know. it was good for me because there were years where at my job where I was like very mentally ill and I could not work 3 days a week. It was just so difficult for me. I was always calling out sick. And now I work 5 days a week consistently and I even have energy to fail at, these things I'm getting into. So number 5 was the print on demand stuff. I'm really embarrassed about it because it sounds so dumb, and obviously I'm a failure because I'm not like a graphic designer or a good artist or, anything that would require that, but I thought I was all those things, but I'm not, which is kind of a bummer. Number 6, I think, was, we'll say like TikTok and Instagram, and this is for gaming, so a lot of the stuff coming up is about gaming because that's what I was doing. I think I mentioned YouTube already, which, I mean, I guess that's a failure that I didn't list, but along with that was TikTok and Instagram, which I keep getting shadow banned on TikTok, and it's really shadow banned, like, completely. Like, I will upload a video and it's glitched or something, and, like, you could search up my channel, friends don't see it, they could my videos are just invisible to the world, and they all get 0 views. It was, like, 10 videos in a row that did that. So that was kind of a bummer, and that's happened twice. But currently, just as of recently, I'm on shadow ban, but I'm like really scared that it's going to happen again, which sucks. Um, then next one, number 7 maybe, is Twitch. Okay, I had a whole idea, so I built up my gaming empire of 600 subscribers and 100 TikTok followers. In a year, right? And I was like, okay, I've done a year of this. I've grinded at this for a year. Let me finally do what I wanted to do and do the lazy thing of just turning on the camera and turning on the live stream and just gaming and having people watch. And I feel like I could talk to people who chat, but no one's gonna chat because no one's watching. So I kind of did a challenge. If I could stream for 30 days in a row, then I just want to see the results of that. And my idea was if I fail at it, I can make a video about it, and that's content. That's content, baby. And then every day I streamed, I had a whole plan. I had a 30-day schedule of exactly what I was gonna stream every day, and I was gonna make YouTube videos out of each of it. But, let's take a wild guess what happened here. I gave up on day 8 because I was very anxious and scared, and I had one on day number 2, one person came, and they just stayed there for the rest of the time, and they're, like, chatting, and it made me feel weird because I feel like they were kind of obsessed with me, and they said they liked my voice and just wanted to fall asleep to my voice, which is weird because my voice is very hit or miss for people for some reason. I had a Hinge match that I was talking to for a week, and then I sent an audio message, and they're like, oh, that's not what I expected you to sound like, and I was like, oh, is that a bad thing? And they're like, you grow a nice mustache, and I shaved my mustache a little bit ago, so it's not like fully grown, so it looks better eventually. So that's another thing. Along with that, Twitch. Now we go back in time a little bit to number 8, which was competitive gaming, which I was like pretty good. I played on a competitive team, and it ended up being that the one of the people on my team ended up being literally the number 1 content creator for the game that we played. So that's crazy. And if I wanted to start a YouTube channel 13 years ago, and I just started it 1 year ago, and it's like I'm seeing all these people succeed. I I mean, obviously I played Overwatch, and I was like looking at, I'm grinding and stuff and trying to get good, and I got pretty good, but I'm never good enough, obviously, and I'm never going to be good on a team because I'm not good at talking and playing at the same time and communicating with people and being like a good teammate. That's just not my thing. Was just good at playing the game, locking in by myself and ignoring everyone and doing that. And that's all I was good at. But I don't know. I had this kind of like, I feel like it's like, oh, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a competitive gamer. And obviously that failed. Um, Next one. This is one of my biggest failures is investing. I learned a lot about investing. Each of these things I'm saying were different hyperfixations that I spent a lot of time like learning about and listening to videos about and stuff like that. And I feel like I learned a lot about investing and I got really, really good at it. I swear to God, I was so good at investing. You look at my portfolio of stocks I individually picked, and it's just like really, really, really good returns. Okay. I have it in Google Sheets or whatever. Um, so why is it such a big failure? It's because of number 10 is because of gambling. So it starts off with penny stocks and then you get into stock options and all of a sudden you lose all your money and you continue losing all your money because you just gained. No, no. What you do first is you just get win after win after win for months. You're just like a stock trading genius and you get so confident. And it's like the whole time I'm thinking, it's like the best way to learn is by making mistakes, but I'm just not making any mistakes. So I'm not learning. But then what I learned is that if I make mistakes, I lose my rationality and I kind of just say, hey, I don't care. I'm not thinking about the stock anymore. I just want to make 100x gain by Friday and it's Thursday. So let me put all my money into options that, if you don't understand how it works, it's just gambling. It's literally just gambling. Think of it like you're betting on a horse, okay? Each stock is a horse and that's not a good example, but you're literally betting on the stock to go up or down. It's not like you're buying the stock and if it goes up, you make a little bit of money and if it goes down, you lose a little bit of money. It's if it goes up but not high enough, you lose everything. You know what I mean? It's literally gambling. It's like that's all it is. And I just continued and I'm still struggling with that today. So that was probably number 10 or 11. And then along with that, the next one is financial responsibility and impulse spending. This one is really bad sometimes. If you look around my room, I have a bunch of junk and stuff. It's like all sorts of things. It's all sorts of things. I have a problem and I'm working on it. I have some credit card debt, obviously, because I lost all my money. And another failure is failing to take care of my teeth. And I spent so much money on my teeth because I was depressed and I didn't think every year I was like, this is my last year here. Why do I have to take care of my teeth or go to the dentist? But obviously I'm still here on earth. So I had to, you know, reap what I sowed or whatever and pay a lot of money at the dentist. And that went on the credit card. And the credit card gets interest every month. And then you don't pay it off very fast. And then you have impulse spending. You buy a new TV because this one wasn't good enough. What? This one was plenty good. It's like, I don't know. I have a problem and I know that and I'm working on it too. I'm just a failure. It's all over. I'm all over. And then the next failure, probably number 12. Sorry, I'm just saying probably because I don't really know what number I'm on because I numbered them, but I'm going out of order. Um, but number 12 was I wanted to go back to school for online business. Um, so well, I didn't get to school yet, but we'll get to that next. But more recently, after failing at everything except for like the gaming stuff, I wanted to go back to school to learn business because it seemed easier than the other majors I tried. And I was like, I could do this. I've been researching finance for so long. I've been researching like the print on demand business and like making a business like that. I've like, I think I know everything so good, but my job just drip feeds me just enough money to not be motivated to take all of my free time and make that um studying for an online business school. And I'm tainted by all this failure and I'm so afraid that I'm just going to fail again. And I probably will, right? Like odds are I'm going to fail again. So why should I spend even more money that I don't have? That's another thing that's holding me back from doing that. But I thought about that a lot and I failed to do that. So there's that. Before we get to all the dark ones, let's rewind to my list here. It's number 13. And here is school. Okay, I failed at well, we'll say college. Um, so in college, for a while I was like, I want to be an architect. That faded very quickly as everyone. I'm just good with numbers, and everyone is like, "You're so good with numbers. You should be an accountant. They make a lot of money." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll do that." And I started, planning to do that. And then I have a problem with like impulses and impulsivity. And I don't know why I never realized this until recently. But it's valuable information for the psychiatrist and the therapist to help me with. But I kind of impulsively changed from accounting to engineering like the day we decided our major, and the people there are like, we've never had this happen, but like, what do we do? Like, you're here for, you signed all your papers saying accounting, but now you want engineering. I don't know. But I did that. And pretty quickly I realized I was like, this is kind of a mistake. All the people here are psychos. They're like psychopaths, like literally. In my engineering, like 101 thing, he says this whole thing about, as an engineer, you're going to be out in the field or whatever, and your job is going to be, I don't know, these engineering things. And for example, if you had a dryer, like, a washer and dryer, you have to make a choice. It's like, do you do part A, which is more expensive, more reliable, and never catches on fire, or part B, which is, like $3 cheaper, but has a chance of catching on fire. And, the guy's like, you're going to have to pick option B. That's what you're going to have to learn as an engineer. And then everyone's like, okay, 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 let me write that down. I was like, really? Like, well, that's what we're doing here. And then number two is, he said, as an engineer, you're not going to get any sleep. You're not going to have any social life and everything. And everyone's like, yeah, dude, I'm so excited. And I was like, I'm looking around. I'm like, you guys are psychopaths. But I continued for a while. I passed all the hard math classes, Calc 1, Calc 2, Calc 3, differential equations. I passed physics classes, physics 1, 2, um, quantum physics. I did chemistry. I did all of this stuff for nothing. I work a manual labor job outside, and like I'll do little things. Uh, I'll use math when I can because my brain likes doing that sometimes. And my job is so like brain dead that I don't get to use my brain. So any opportunity, like we'll be setting up a baseball field, and I'm like, well, obviously, from home plate to first base to second place back to home plate, that's a right isosceles triangle, which means the hypotenuse is the square root of 2, right? Or you multiply by the square root of 2, which is like if 50 feet, then it's like if it's 50 feet from home to first, then it's about 70 feet from home to second, right? Obviously. And I'm telling my coworkers this, and they're like, you're making shit up on the spot and we know it. You're bullshitting us. And I'm like, no, dude, this is real, dude. I took so many years of math and now I don't use it, which is fine. So, I said I came up with 26 failures in 3 minutes and 23 seconds, but I condensed them. So I'm putting every failure, every college failure in one. So that we're all, I don't know, 13, whatever. We're still on 13. So I failed at doing accounting and then engineering, and then I dropped out because there was a really hard class. It was circuit analysis, and the teacher there told us, he said, you know, here we're ramping up the difficulty because two people graduated not knowing how to add resistors in series and parallel, which is something you learn in high school physics. And people graduated without knowing that. So he made the class incredibly hard. And I bet you two-thirds of the class dropped out halfway through. And that's pretty bad. But, after failing physics one once or something, or physics 2 or whatever, it kind of like messes up my whole plan having to retake that. And it's like now I have to take a whole nother year and I don't even know if I want to do this. So I changed to environmental sciences, which, I like sciences, I like the environment, but I felt so out of place there for some reason. And I don't really understand this, but everyone there was like very passionate about the environment and they were all good at talking and they were good at like stuff like that. And I'm more good at not talking and doing math and sciences. So I don't know why I just felt so out of place. But then I was like, well, let me take all of my classes. I've passed all of these math classes in a stats class and everything. It's like, why don't I just get a statistics degree? That sounds easy enough. But yeah, sometimes you have severe anxiety and depression and you're afraid to leave your apartment. And you lose a bunch of weight. You weigh 114 pounds and then you are super depressed. And all you do is think about, not being there, not having to, continue on. And you just sleep for 16 hours a day. And then all of a sudden, you fail out of college. So that happens. So number 14, let's talk about my failing that started in middle school or junior high actually, because there was actually one time in my 7th grade class, I wrote middle school down and my teacher corrected it to junior high. She gave me like, the red thing and it said that. Also, um this isn't in my failures, but just a little side note that I'm pretty bummed about is that I feel like I never was creative because of anxiety and I was so afraid of people judging me. I didn't like teachers judging like my creative writing because they'll put like an X on it and it just like hurt my heart so much. I just hated being judged. And I feel like that stopped me from being creative, which led me down the path of math and sciences, which in the end I didn't like that much. I like being creative. I really do. And I'm getting better at being more accepting with criticism and everything like that. But, that's a failure probably. I don't know. Not part of the 30 failures though. But when I started failing in middle school, that is a thing where I kind of realized that all of my quote unquote hard work is just anxiety. I was completely fueled on anxiety and I didn't know that. Uh, but y you know, I was so afraid to do bad and, like, disappoint my parents and disappoint my teachers and stuff like that. Here's a random thing I remember is when I was in, like, 6th grade, I did a homework assignment and I lost it, and I was, like, freaking out, and we're learning, and while we're learning, I redo the whole entire homework assignment as we're, like, learning, and, um and then I turn it in, and then, my teacher comes like, this other teacher found that your homework that was stapled to, the back of your homework that you gave to that class." And I'm like, "Oh, that's where it was." Obviously, I didn't say anything because I didn't talk for some reason. I didn't really talk in school. I was so anxious. But, but yeah, and then so I did the homework assignment twice, and the teachers were like, "Oh, you did the homework assignment twice?" And I was like, "Mhm, mhm, yeah, I did it. Yeah." But yeah, so I was basically just fueled by anxiety. So in junior high, when I got a C because I was in advanced reading and writing classes, which here's number of failure number 14 or 15 is that I cannot read. Okay. I am telling you about how I'm like smart and stuff. I can't read. I'm not actually smart. I've never read a book from start to finish in my life. If as long as we're not including like color picture books and stuff like that. In 5th grade, I almost read a book front to back. I got to like page 200 out of 240 and I was like, "Yeah, that's about it. I'm done." And that's the most I've ever read a book. Other than that, I don't think I've read halfway into a book. I have a bunch of books that I've bought because I'm like, I'm finally going to read. I think my attention span is good enough, but I never read them. I have a problem where I try to read the letters and I try to read the words, but my mind is just somewhere else. And it's kind of a bummer that I was never given help for this because, every single year I would be doing good in elementary school and there would be a book report you have to do at the end of the year and I would never do it. And it's like, I don't know how I got away with that and how no one ever is like, I wonder if there's something going on here. Does he have problems with focusing or is he dyslexic? But he's never read a book. But I guess I was smart enough to do good enough in school for them to never be concerned. But I don't know. I kinda think I must have been really dumb to never, like, understand and acknowledge this, that, maybe I'm stupid for never understanding that I might have a problem, for never thinking that I might have a problem with anxiety, you know? I For some reason, I thought, "Hey, I must not have anxiety because no one has ever said I have anxiety, and people that actually have anxiety probably have medication for anxiety so they don't seem like it." You know what I mean? So it's like and I don't know what was going through my head, but I started failing because, they put me in advanced reading and writing classes in junior high, which I must have gotten lucky on the test because I couldn't I couldn't read. That we had these, the exam or the ISATs, Illinois stupid test thing. Um, and I could not focus to read the passages. So I would just kind of guess. I kind of just look for words that were in the question and look for words that were in the passage and then try to like put it together. I never read the passages. Sometimes I did, but I usually didn't. But somehow I got put into advanced reading and writing, so that was cool. And when that happened, I couldn't keep up because I couldn't read, and I got a C. So I got my first C, and my mom's reaction was, "Oh, that's okay." And from that moment on, I was like, "Oh, it's okay to get a C. I don't have to like freak out anymore." And I stopped freaking out, and I started getting D's in 8th grade. So that was cool. And then in when I got to high school, so at the end of 8th grade, we do like this like ISAT thing again, this exam to see where you're gonna get placed in high school. And after the exam, the teacher is like, "Yeah, basically everyone is gonna get put in advanced reading and writing." Um, and she said basically everyone. I was not one of those people who got put in advanced reading and writing. I was not one of those people that got put in normal reading and writing. I was one of the people. I was probably the only person that has ever been in advanced reading and writing throughout junior high to get put in like below normal. I'm like, it's like, here's like advanced, normal, special ed, and then I'm like here, you know. So that was cool, and that was very easy because I think I was too smart for that. You know, they helped me with all my classes, and I was, still struggling in a lot of classes because I've kind of fallen behind in school. Um, but I ended up recovering and getting A's junior year and high and senior year. Especially once there were no reading classes, except Spanish, I was really bad at because I'm really bad at words. So yeah, I don't know if you could tell I'm bad at words. I feel like I'm talking pretty good and I'm using the English language decently. So yeah, so my failure started in middle school, and here is, I don't know where this is on the list, but I'm going to say it now. We're going to hop back to college. This is just a fun little failure that we're going to throw in here, okay? But freshman year of college, I was in a writing class, which I ended up liking writing a lot. And my writing teacher said I was like one of the best writers, one of the best creative writers in his class. And I was like, "What, dude? I'm a good creative writer?" I never knew that because no one told me, you know? And now I like writing. I like writing. I wanna write a TV show, but I'm not, that's gonna be another failure in my 40 failures by 40. That'll be in that video, which will be interesting. Um, but in this class, we do those little things where we learn everyone's names, and it's like, "What's your favorite food?" or whatever. And the way it worked in this class is the person in the front left, they say their name and their favorite food, okay? And then the next person has to say their name and their favorite food, and then the other person. And then the third person has to say all three, and then the fourth person has to say all four. And guess where an anxious, awkward guy is sitting? He's sitting in the back row. That's me. So I have to say literally everyone in the class's name and favorite food. And I'm so nervous. I hate talking in front of people. I would always panic. My heart would hurt because my chest was beating so hard. And I was like, I need to remember everyone. And I remembered, I had it down. I was so confident. I was so confident. I was like, that's Jimmy, that's Timmy, that's Tom. These are their favorite foods or whatever. And I knew every single one of them. And then it got to my turn and I panicked and I swear to God, I could not remember a single person's name. And it was so bad and so embarrassing. Everyone's probably like, this guy isn't paying attention. This guy's just a freaking weirdo who's stupid. And I swear to God, I knew every single name, but I forgot all of them. And it was really embarrassing. And I'll remember that day forever, which is really cool. I like remembering awkward moments forever and thinking about them. I think that's a really cool thing to do. Um, and then next up, failure. I'm going to number them randomly now. Number 16. Um, this is another annual failure. I have 4 annual failures to get out of the way. Number 16 is making IRL friends. Could never do it. That's not my thing. I've always been too anxious. Every single year of elementary school, middle school, high school, and college, I would say this year is different. This is a fresh start. I can make friends, and I couldn't. That's just an anxiety thing, social anxiety thing. When you're really afraid to talk to people, how do you make friends? It's impossible. It's like, I'm not going to look at people. I'm just going to like look down. It's like, it's not that I can't talk. I can't even look at people. I can't make eye contact. It's like, how am I supposed to make friends? Obviously wasn't going to happen. Along with that, number 17, IRL relationships and stuff like that. So that is difficult because same reason. So failing at that for every single year. But then guess what happens? Dating apps come around. Now I don't have to initiate with some random person in public. I could just make a dating profile and post pictures of me and swipe on everyone or swipe on half the people, whatever, and get no matches. I could get no matches. Everyone probably thinks I'm ugly. So I buy the premium one version where I could see who liked me. And it's just like bots and scammers that liked me. And just no one likes me. And when I do have like the occasional person that likes me after buying a boost, you know what I mean? They just don't like me enough to continue talking to me, and I'm weird or something. I don't know what my problem is. I'm not the type of person you want to meet on a dating app. I'm just ugly and weird and really funny and cool, but that's not what you're looking for. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna throw some. I'm gonna throw some. I don't have to be humble when I'm telling 30 failures. Okay, you can pipe down about that. So that was number 17. Number 18 is loving myself. never been able to do it. I wanna love myself, that's a goal, but I fail at it every year. Along with number 20 is being happy. I fail at that every year. I feel like I'm getting closer every year at being happy. There's always been this, not always, but for the past like 5 years of my quest to being happy, yeah, starting at 24 is when I started. Cause like from 20 to 20, so like from, you know, kindergarten to 18, just all anxiety. That part of life doesn't count, okay? Then from 18 to 20, still anxiety. I don't know why I didn't include that. And then from 20 to 23, just severe depression, just so bad. It was so bad. I didn't I'm honestly shocked I'm still here. 100 million%. I did not think I would be here. Um so that was that, and then at 24 is when my life started to change, and I was medicated now, and I'm like, my goal is to be happy. I wanna be happy, and I was so curious if other people would happy. I just ask them like, online and stuff. I was like, "Are you happy?" And they're like, "Yeah, I'm happy," and I was always surprised that, like, 2/3 of people said they were happy, which lines up with, I think, the statistics or something. It might be less than that, I don't remember, but like at least half of people are happy, and I was always so shocked by that and curious about it because I thought it was super cool. And when they would ask me if I'm happy, I would always say, "Not yet. I'm not happy yet. I'm not, just not yet," which is like a kind of optimistic way to think about it. And it's a weird thing to say, and I understand that, but I think it's good for me to say that. But I did kind of, this did slip into real life because one time my parents had friends from like Florida coming over, or like some old friends, and they are asking me about my job that I've been there for 8 years at the time, and they're like, "Oh, you've been there for 8 years? Do you like it?" And I was like, "Not yet." And which is a very weird thing to say, because for someone who's been working at a job for 8 years, being like, "Yeah, I don't like it yet, but any day now, I'm gonna love the job. I'm sure of it." So now let's get to some darker failures. I hope you're not reading the back of this. I hope you can't see that because that's a spoiler, which we'll get to. Number 21 is actually, well, I wrote this is number 20. We'll just pretend we're on number 20. Number 20 was when I was 20 years old. So this is where it gets dark for a few. So if you want to skip, I'll put a little timestamp. Um, but number 20 is, my mom was always worried about people getting alcohol poisoning because people die from that and drinking too much and dying. And I was watching an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where the guy was just like, "I'm going to drink myself to death." And it was just like very casual. And I was like, "Oh, you could do that, huh?" So, I drank a lot when I was 20, and it was New Year's Eve. So, I drank a lot, and I found out that it hurts really bad in your whole entire body, and it hurt so bad I had to force myself to puke, and, that made me feel better, but I was still hungover for like 4 days, and I was just suffering for like 4 days, which was really cool. Um, and then I couldn't drink alcohol for like 4 years, but I could drink a little bit of alcohol now, but my body just rejected it so bad, which was, it makes sense. My body's like, "Whoa, whoa, we remember this stuff. This stuff's no good." So it kind of rejected that, which is cool. But from there on out, I realized that, leaving this world is very scary and painful. And if you mess up, it just hurts and can ruin you forever. Like, leaving the world is difficult, and my body is like built to protect me. And I hate that. I hate blood. I hate thinking about like internal organs and stuff like that. So it was just very hard for me to do anything, which is good because that means I'm still here. And eventually, probably when I was 24 again, this is when things started turning around, and 24 is probably when I started trying, like, print on demand and doing, like, stuff like that and trying to, like, do things with my life and failing at them, obviously, as I always do. But, I kinda came up with this idea where I was talking to a friend. We had, like, a 7-hour conversation that just stimulated my brain, and we were talking until, like, 4 AM, and usually I was only staying up till, like, 11 PM, and we just talked, and my starting point was that life isn't worth it, in terms of there's just so much suffering and pain and anxiety and the feelings, and like everyone suffers and dies, and we have to put animals through like suffering just so we can eat them and stuff like that. So I was like, life's just not worth it and stuff like that. And who cares if I die and stuff like that. But then eventually I came to the conclusion, it's like I hate pain and suffering and anxiety and stuff like that. and I'm stuck here in a body that protects me and doesn't let me leave. So why don't I use this opportunity to try to minimize pain and suffering? Um, so obviously, this will lead into another failure. Number one was, I mentioned animals. So failure number 23 was being a vegetarian. I found out that when you're really depressed and aren't good at eating food and you drop to 14 pounds, which I'm 100, like, look at me. I'm not like a big guy now, but I weigh 35 pounds heavier now, or a little more, 37 pounds heavier now. So imagine me that much skinnier. So I just started eating meat just because I'm dying. I'm like withering away. Not because you could easily survive being a vegetarian. Obviously, it's not that hard. You could get super buff, you could get fat, but when you don't have a lot of money and you don't have motivation to cook, it gets hard. So you just get a cheeseburger from McDonald's instead. So that's cool. Failure number 22. This was one of my saddest failures was, I'm stuck here. I need to help people. And this failing at this put me in such a low for like 6 months. Okay. I applied to volunteer for a place. And what I'm really bad at is interviews, and no one ever wants me. Even though this is a volunteer position, I decided I want to help people on this earth. And I'm going to start as small as possible. It's one-on-one helping like kids, like who are struggling. And I was like, I struggled so much as a kid and I just wish someone was there to help me. And I want to help someone. And I apply for this position and I don't get it. They literally during the interview, they said, yeah, we have like about 22, 24 people and like 38 kids. And eventually we want to have one person for every kid. And I was like, yeah, that's great. And I didn't get it. They didn't take me. They didn't accept me. I'm doing this for free. I just want to help people. That's literally why I'm still here on earth, is to help people. And they said, I don't know, you seem kind of weird. So I didn't get the job, or the volunteer position. So that put me in such a low. I was so sad about that. That's like so disheartening. Um, so now for the next few is going to be onto failures at bettering myself. Failure number 24 is I mixed volunteering was failure number 23. Um, so ignore that. Now we're into failure number 24 is exercising. Okay. I cannot do it. I keep trying to do it and I just can't do it. I'll do it for like a day and then I stop. Failure number 25. Look at how far I am in this journal. I have like 4 or 5 journals that all have that many pages filled out. I can't journal, and I've been doing this for 5 years. And then along with that, um, same topic is my other one. Again, don't look at my greasy hair. Um, I have this bullet journal, which I filled out a few pages. I tried to do it. Um, you'll like this. Look at a nice little drawing. I don't know if you can see that. Nice little drawing. I'll try to zoom in on it. Um, but yeah, every single page has failure written on it. But look at this cute little thing. It says clean start, and it's like little bubbles all around. And I was like, this is 2021, I believe, January 2021, where I wanted a clean start and I wanted to be better. And then I failed at being better. So I wrote failure on every single page in this because I was so like, just I was having a little moment. You know how it is, having little moments. So that was failure number 25 is journaling. Failure number 26, I mentioned this earlier, is my hygiene. And maybe my hair is greasy because I don't shower every day, because I can't, because I don't like it. It makes my scalp itchy. I don't brush my teeth enough. I definitely don't brush my teeth enough. I'm not going to say how often I do because it's embarrassing, even though I've been embarrassing myself this whole entire time. Um, Next up, number 27 is failing to figure out who I am. I have, because I've had anxiety my whole entire life, I feel like I just am whatever it is that anxiety makes me. I want to blend into the background. I don't want to be unique. I don't want to be myself because then people will judge me for who I am. And if I am no one, if I just wear the most bland clothing and I just have a bland haircut, then no one can judge me, I guess. I don't know what it is, but I wanted to figure out who I was and I tried and I couldn't figure it out. I feel like I'm too far gone. And then here's a little bonus one for a bunch of failures. Number So this is number 28, but I failed at. I wanted to do writing, write like a stories or a TV show or book or whatever. Obviously, I didn't do that. Drawing, I think I got like hyper fixated on that for a little bit, and I feel like I got pretty good at it, but I gave up on that. Guitar, I played guitar for so many years, and I haven't touched it for 10. I wanted to make a depression journal, which this is an interesting one. I wanted to make like a guided journal that could like help you and like give you exercises that are scientifically proven to help with depression. And I wanted to format it in like a very friendly and kind of like intuitive way that appeal to people who are kind of skeptical of things like meditating and stuff like that, but kind of just go over things that scientifically are proven to help you in like a guided journal like that. And I thought it was a really good idea, but obviously I didn't do it. Video game development, I've tried little things like that. I kind of get really into it. Then obviously I stop. And then number 29, I wrote down was reading. I've never read a book. I already got into that. And then number 30, this is kind of a sad one, is maintaining friendships and relationships. All of my relationships and friendships, they're just a ticking time bomb, and I don't understand why. They all last like 2.5 years very consistently. And I don't know what's up with that. I don't know how they end. I have a really bad memory. I think my brain is messed up in a lot of ways, and one of them is I can't remember things very well. Um, but yeah, things happen, and I don't maintain friendships or relationships, and it's kind of sad because I will say, "Hey, you know, we'll be friends. We'll be friends for a while, right?" And I'll say, "Yeah, of course we'll be friends for a while. We talk all the time. Like, why wouldn't we be friends for a while?" And these are all online friends and online relationships and stuff like that. Still not able to talk to people in real life. But yeah, they're ticking time bombs and they don't last. And I want to change, but I never do. Which sucks. But, now we're gonna twist this. We're gonna twist this whole video on its head, okay? I'm I've been failing for 30 years, okay? But let me say this, I am not a failure, okay? You might be saying, obviously, yeah, you are, and you're coping right now when you say you're not, but listen to me when I say this is, if you're failing in life, that means you're trying things, you're doing things that are harder than your body and mind are able to do, and if you're pushing yourself, that's good. My goal in life could be sleeping 12 hours a day and not showering, and I would knock that out of the park. I would do so good at that, but that's not my goal. My goal is to, make a business online or make YouTube videos for gaming and get subscribers and get people to like me and stuff like that. And obviously I'm not good enough to do that stuff, but I'm trying. I'm not good enough to do art. I'm not good enough to like do anything for long periods of time. I can't focus on things, and I'm just going to continue failing, and that's okay because failing is like natural and it's okay. And don't listen to all these people that are like becoming millionaires and stuff like that. Like, I don't care. Like, don't listen to them. Like, be yourself. I'm trying to be a new person who keeps trying at things and is trying his best. And I think that's, the best I could do is the best I could do. And if I continue failing, my prediction, failure number 31, is this channel where I strap a phone to the ceiling to record myself laying down in bed. Like, why am I doing this? I don't know. But I kind of like watching people be talking about stuff like this. So I thought I would make a video like that too. So if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. That's fine. Whatever. I was gonna do this instead of the gaming channel because the gaming channel was failing, obviously, but it started to not fail, which is really cool and giving me a little bit of confidence, which I really need. I was so sad. I was so sad when my friend had got 40 times my success. I'm not exaggerating. 40, I think there's no one else I know who has that much success where they're at 40,000 subscribers in like a month or two with like 3 videos. Like, what? And that plus some YouTube shorts and stuff like that. But like in the fact that I have like 100 videos, including YouTube shorts, and only had 600 subscribers, I'm like, damn, I've been working on this for a year. And her videos were kind of just like talking, you know what I mean? Talking to a camera. Like I was editing things. You've probably been watching this TV that is not playing anymore, which was supposed to be playing this whole time, but I guess it's not. It was going to go through my YouTube videos so you can see all the hard work I've done. But yeah, I failed. I failed to set that up correctly. And you know what the funniest failure will be is when I find out it hasn't been recording this whole time, and then I'll have to do it again, which I won't. I'll just give up. That's what I do. I give up. So thank you for watching. I hope you've had a good time here. Rock on, brother, or sister, and live your life and fail. Come on, fail with me. Come on, fist bump.